There is quite a lot to unpack here, so buckle up for this one. Okay. As you might have seen from the title and the thumbnail, this reading is about a person who is still haunting your memories, your mind, your life, your well-being. There's something on this card that's bugging me. So I'm gonna start with this haunted card. This is talking about unfinished business, and I'm getting an image from, if you guys know the episode in Adventure Time with the ghost fly, the unfinished business for the ghost fly, the stuff that kept the ghost on this earthly plane, was the fact that it hadn't finished the soup. It was gonna try Jake's soup and he hadn't got an opportunity to do so. So I feel like your unfinished business might have something to do with your past, with a specific person. I am getting specifically a mother figure. It is not necessarily a mother figure for every one of you, but it could be a woman, specifically a woman in an air sign, Gemini, Aquarius, Libra, or a very stern woman, a very mature woman, but not necessarily mature in a good sense, but more like someone who's been through a lot, and they're very strict. It's either their way or the highway. They're very cold, they're kind of rigid, they might have a hard time with change of any kind, like changing jobs, changing their habits, changing house, changing anything. Honestly, they might be a little bit of a control freak or have other OCD traits. They might have made a huge scene when you were moving. For example, say you were moving this from here to here, they would make a huge scene over that, because it's like, why the fuck did you move it when I left it here? Who do you think you are? Okay. Very cunning, very calculated person, and the unfinished business you have with them, for some of you, is going to be trauma that you are still holding on to, and for others it might be a desire for revenge, although I feel like very, very few of you actually want revenge. I feel like a lot of you want to be seen by this person. I feel like you want your side of the story to be told and understood specifically by them, but at the same time I feel like you're holding on to a lot of fear when it comes to actually talking to this person and telling them how you feel about what they've done to you. I feel like a lot of you are still living in that past, and even if you are not doing so consciously, by like constantly remembering and re-remembering what's happened back then when this person still had influence over you, or still you were still indebted to them in some way, is what I heard. I feel like even though that's not the case, you're still living there unconsciously. Like your patterns of thought and behavior are stuck there. You might be stuck in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. For example, if you're stuck in flight, you might have a hard time keeping relationships in your life, because at the very first signs of conflict, you feel like running away and never looking back, and you tend to make them the devil, even though you know they're not. When you calm down, you know that it wasn't that big of a deal, but your emotions are very hard to control. If you're stuck in fight, you might be passive aggressive, you might hold on to a lot of resentment and anger, and you might get angry from the smallest things, or you might have a very, very hard time accepting criticism, even when it's constructive. My mouth is really dry, so maybe you guys are dehydrated. You might want to drink some water. Or you might have a very hard time speaking your mind, because I keep stumbling for my words, even though there's a lot of stuff that wants to come out. For some of you, if you're stuck in fawn, then you guys are trying to people please a lot, and you have a very hard time doing something just for yourself, and you might feel guilty when you do something for yourself. A lot of you might be stuck in codependency patterns where you're constantly living for someone else, and you might be, for some of you, if you're in a relationship, you might be babying someone else's child, and you might feel like you're mothering them, taking care of them, but you're neglecting yourself. You're feeding them, you're making sure they get their vitamins, you make sure they have clean clothes, and you make sure they have food every time they come home, but you don't do the same for yourself, and you have neglected your passions, your hobbies, and your time spent with yourself. And for those of you stuck in freeze, you are procrastinating a lot. You find it hard to get up and do the things that you want to do for yourself, like go to the gym, prepare a healthy meal, record a video if you want to start a YouTube channel or a TikTok channel. Okay, you have a hard time working on your goals, studying. For some of you, I heard it's and it's all piling up and looming over you because you have all these Pinterest boards. Maybe you have a shit ton of books that you want to read. Maybe you have a lot of stuff planned on your to-do list, but you never actually get onto doing it, because even when you reserve time for yourself specifically to do those things, you don't actually do them, because when you actually have the time, especially during the day, I feel like during the day you have a hard time doing stuff that you enjoy, because you feel like you should be doing something else. You feel like you should be productive, and then when you think about being productive, you get exhausted just at the thought of it, so you end up doing nothing or just scrolling the day away or watching YouTube videos the whole day. And I'm sorry if I called anyone out brutally without holding your hand. I was holding your hand energetically, okay? I was just a lot of stuff that I wanted you guys to know. If if you know this reading is for you, how you know this reading is for you is because you resonated with what I said. So that's the stuff that needs to be healed. That's the unconscious ways in which these things penetrate your daily life. So you need to let this person go and live in the present. I feel like a lot of you, either you are living in the past and re-repeating these scenarios in your head over and over and trying to think if it was your fault and what you can do to be perfect so you can avoid that from happening again. Avoid that happening again. I was gonna say prevent it from happening again. Anyways, same shit. Another thing here, some of you might be idealizing the future a lot. Meaning that one day when I'll have this amount of money, one day when I'll have this car, one day when I'll have this house, one day when I'll have that library, one day when I'll have something XYZ, then my life is going to be perfect. One day when I'll be fit, one day when I'll be so calm and collected, everything's gonna be perfect. But that one day never comes because you don't actually start now. You don't do shit in the now. You need to put in the work now, and I know you don't want to hear that. And I really want to give you a hug, because I feel like some of you are squirming at the thought of changing your life and actually doing the things you want to do, because I do feel like you're beating yourself up for not doing it because you do want to implement it. But okay, this reading is basically here to warn you that this person is going to try to enter your life. I heard your house first. I don't know why I was going to say your house. Maybe your house, or for some of you, this person might barge in on your family. Like, for example, if you're married or you have a family of your own, or if this person is a family member, they might try to get back with the rest of the family group and ruin things. I don't know what ruin things means specifically, but I can give you a description of what I mean. It's gonna be playing out a little different for everyone, but basically this person thinks they are who you actually are. I feel a lot of envy, a lot of jealousy for the type of life you have built for yourself. You know what's funny? The imposter syndrome that you have, I would say, is in the exact amount of the overconfidence that this person is displaying. In other words, this person is someone who says that they are very studious and very powerful and very hardworking, but they're not. Instead, guess who is really studious and really hardworking and has a lot of quiet power? You. But you don't boast about it, and you're very humble. You're actually more humble than you should be, because this person has humbled you. They constantly made you look up to them for no good reason, just to make you feel small and to manipulate you, because if you're smaller and less significant than them, then they're always going to be the center of attention and you're always going to be a slave to them. And I feel like they're going to try to enter your life once again, for sure. They're going to enter the family dynamic somehow. They're going to try to promise you that they're going to mend the wounds of the past. They're going to burn you all over again, because I feel myself like I keep running my hand over this flame, and it feels good at first, but then it starts burning because I linger for too long. And I feel like that's exactly what's going on with this person. When you're around them, At first, it feels comforting. It feels like the mother, the friend, the grandmother, the whatever you never had. It feels like they're finally giving you what they've never given you in your life. But if you linger for too long, it starts to hurt. It starts to burn. And it can burn you to a crisp if you don't get out of there quickly. You gotta get out of there quickly when you feel that their influence is going to that again, to that destructive side of them. I feel like they know what wounds, where it hurts, what wounds you still have open, and they're gonna try to tend to those first. They're gonna apologize. They're gonna try to tell you that they're sorry. They're gonna, maybe not directly, but they're gonna overcompensate by doing stuff for you. And even the doing is more like talking. Like, I'll talk to you to make you feel better, or I'll spend time with you. I'll get coffees with you, I'll go on walks with you, but it's not much of actually doing anything to make your life better. It's like just by their presence alone and them talking, you're supposed to feel like, oh my god, they've done so much for you. Bullshit. And I feel like you are in grave danger of over romanticizing this and seeing it as a bigger effort than it actually is. And I feel like you are in grave danger of being tricked and manipulated by the smoke and mirrors that they're throwing, okay? And I just want you to be aware that this is on the horizon, so when it actually does come, Spirit, is there something, let me grab the tarot, is there something you want the group watching this to know about this person re-entering their life? What would you suggest they do? What's your advice for them when this person comes back around? Okay. Let me shuffle these. Oh, okay. I'm gonna take this. So that's the Six of Cups reversed. Alright. Let me give this another shuffle. What advice do you have for the group watching these readings? Okay, the Wheel of Fortune reversed. Okay. It's funny, my speaker just disconnected for a second. So maybe disconnect from them when they speak. Seriously, oh my god. Eight of Wands. Make it brief, make it quick. Yeah, the Tower. I am so not shocked that this is coming up, especially with the Wheel of Fortune reverse. So this is a, hate to say it, but it's more like a test for you to finally be able to get that closure, to see that they haven't changed and you haven't lost anything and you haven't missed out on anything, and they're still very much the very same hypocrite person, the same person who thinks they're more valuable than they actually are, the same person who manipulates everyone around them, the law and everything in their favor, the same person who can never stand to lose, who can never stand to apologize or be wrong or stay corrected. I feel like even though you miss them, you have to realize that you are only missing a familiar hell. The unfamiliar heaven is still waiting for you. Yeah, Four of Swords reversed. This person is gonna wreak havoc if you let them in your life for longer than you should, and I feel like you know this. We have Judgment reversed, clarifying the Wheel of Fortune. So you know that they are bad news. You know that you shouldn't be taking them back. You know they haven't actually changed shit, jack shit. This is the Nine of Pentacles reversed. So yeah, I feel like for a lot of you, this person might be coming back asking for money or favors, or they might be coming back to claim your freedom once again. So sorry about that. Somehow my phone died because I forgot to charge it. I actually knew the battery was low and I had my charger on hand and I forgot to plug it in because the message was so urgent and I was so focused on delivering. But to pick up where we left off, I was saying, mind you, the cards are the way that they obviously came out when I finished this reading, and then I saw that, well, my phone was dead when I finished. Just to confirm what I was saying, Death came out in reverse as well. So just confirming that this person has not changed at all. There's nothing different about them. They might appear different on the surface, but the only reason that they're back is because the universe is trying to test you. And with this Nine of Wands here, if you let them back in, This is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. This is going to be the thing that finally breaks you and lets you know that if you want to heal yourself, your relationship to yourself, to those around you that you care for and love, your relationship to money and your physical body, your nervous system, it has nothing to do with this person. You think it does because it started from them, but it doesn't end with them. In fact, it ends as far away from them as possible. This person is going to trigger your innermost wounds. They know all your buttons that they need to press for you to do what they need you to do. With the Tower here, they're going to have you self-sabotaging so hard, just like that, just like snapping their fingers, okay? I feel like they might even make you actually physically like snap out, snap at them. With the Nine of Pentacles in reverse here, I want to point out, for some of you, this person is coming for money. For some of you, this person is coming to claim your freedom, to make you dependent on them somehow, or to be dependent on you somehow, so that you cannot afford any luxuries, you cannot afford anything that makes you feel abundant and at peace. They might corner you. For some of you, they might try to make you get out of a relationship. For the most of you, it's a healthy relationship that has had a rough patch recently, but they're trying to get you away from that person, to corner you, like I said, okay? This Nine of Pentacles also represents someone who is single, like a bachelor, or I'm not necessarily getting divorce energy unless we count the Queen of Swords from the first reading I did with the tarot. But this person is definitely a control freak. And because you don't know who to trust right now and you don't trust yourself, they're going to try to get you on their side, okay? So be very careful with them. This is pretty much what Spirit wanted you to know. Let me know down in the comments how this resonates. Take care of yourselves. I'm not saying that this test is mandatory, but it feels like for a lot of you, this is what you need in order to learn. You need to basically be slapped in the face once again by this person to finally understand that it was never about them, and that changing your relationship to them will not change your relationship to yourself and the quality of your life. You need to let them in the past. You need to finally be present with yourself, with your goals, with what you want to do. You need to forget that you ever had a past with them. I'm not saying what happened is fair, but forgiving, or at least forgetting, is going to bring you so much peace. When I'm recording this is a timeless message, but when I'm recording this, it's going to be a Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius and Scorpio. So depending on when you have those placements in your chart, you might want to check those respective houses to see what area of your life could be triggered, and if it has something to do with this person, or if you're watching this reading and it certainly has something to do with this person, you might at least know where it will impact you the most when they come back, so you can brace. Been watching a lot of aviation accidents videos lately. Big fan of Mentor Pilot's channel. Anyways, that's about what I have for you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. This helps me a ton. And if you want to book with me or follow me on TikTok, my credentials are in the description. I'll see you next time.